Uncle Henry Show. Thank you so much for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM, 99.5 FM The Jag. A beautiful, beautiful morning. Today, Jeff Sessions testifying in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Probably going to be a pretty good day for Jeff Sessions, or else he would not have volunteered to do this in public. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I'm intrigued at what he may tell us. Who knows what he'll tell us? So we have that this afternoon to look forward to, and then dissect all of that. Email address, unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. Earlier this morning, talk about Dennis Rodman going to North Korea. Always an odd situation with Dennis Rodman. I'm trying to think of the right way to describe him. He's very much the individual. Unique guy, right? And he's headed to North Korea. He told the reporters as he was going through the airport that he was there to see some friends and have a good time.
A message from President Trump to North Korean Secretary Kim Jong-un.
I'm just here to come see some friends and have a good time.
Okay, see some friends and have a good time. I don't know. That country known for starvation, repression. I don't know about the good time. I haven't heard about the good time. I don't know if they have some type of North Korean version of Branson, Missouri, which that would, to me, would be the good time if there was a North Korean version of Branson. But he's over there, and the reporters were asking if he was taking a message from President Trump. I don't know how far-fetched that is. In fact, I've got an email about this. Subject line on the email is Dennis Rodman. Email reads, "Hey, Uncle Henry, wasn't the host of The Gong Show an NSA operative, as well as I think Elvis Presley was a government agent at some point? I know there was a movie out about the Gong Show host doing intelligence work for the United States, and I think there was a book as well." Just a thought in that email from Jason. So Jason wondering if Dennis Rodman is a government agent, just like Chuck Barris and Elvis. Jason, I don't know. Stranger things have probably happened. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the nines, and then more.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Look for an accident that's popped up on Moffett Road or the West I-65 Service Road. You do have an 18-wheeler involved with that one, and one on Grand Bay Wilmer Road just south of the I-10. No big accidents or breakdowns affecting I-10 traffic itself, though, into and out of the region. It's been a quiet drive so far this morning with no big problems so far. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by Unbound.
There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. There's an elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
Tuesday's weather is going to be stormy and steamy. Our rain coverage today will be at 60%. Remember, if you hear thunder, you are within striking distance. We will be topping out in the upper 80s. Lows will be in the 70s overnight with a few spotty showers. Wednesday's rain coverage will be at 40%. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by Unbound.
There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. There's an elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No two dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening. Yes, Jeff Sessions' testimony. I'm really looking forward to seeing Jeff Sessions and his testimony today. before the Senate Intelligence Committee. Mainly because I'm pretty sure he knows his way around. Having been the guy that used to do the questioning, plus his background as a U.S. attorney and an attorney general of Alabama, he's been on every end of asking questions and probably has some very specific things that he wants to say. So the more I think about it, the more curious I am about what Jeff Sessions wants to say, what kind of answers he anticipates giving to the questions he knows are coming. Now, yesterday, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer was asked, what does President Trump think of Jeff Sessions' decision to testify openly?
The president's been clear last week in the Rose Garden that he believes that the sooner we can get this addressed and dealt with, that there's been no collusion. He wants this to get investigated as soon as possible and be done with it.
And he was asked if Jeff Sessions will use executive privilege to not answer some questions.
It depends on the scope of the questions, and it would be to get into a hypothetical at this point would be premature.
Okay. Well, just hearing that, it tells me that again, the more I think about it, as each second ticks by, the more anxious I am to hear what he has to say, knowing that he is voluntarily going in a public hearing to talk about these things. Maybe there's some things that James Comey said that he feels like he wants to offer his own take on. How many people want to? Not many people want to go and be involved in something like this, where you're there, sworn in, and just most people wouldn't want to do that. So the fact that he wants to do it, that should tell us that he's got something to say. And I don't know if it's about Comey. I don't know if it's about the Russians. And you heard the answer from Sean Spicer about saying the president wants this matter behind them. So maybe Jeff Sessions thinks he's got some information or some testimony that will put some of this aside. Now, of course, there's always going to be some kind of a cloud because the media wants there to be. The media wants a cloud. So even if the Russia issue's off the table, they'll find something else to have a cloud about. But again, very curious. Looking forward to the testimony from Jeff Sessions today before the Senate Intelligence Committee. I know that other committees want him. The Judiciary Committee also wants him. I don't know if he's going to volunteer to go before more than one committee. And probably doesn't want to go back before the Judiciary Committee. If I remember that correctly, some of the members of that committee were not very nice. There's much more to come on the Uncle Henry Show. Stick with us. You can continue to watch also video available on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. All right, and here we are on Facebook. Let me see if we have anybody watching the video this morning on Facebook. Oh, we do! How about that? All right, well, let me say good morning to Roger Bird, Shelby Mitchell, Terry, let's see, and whoever else it might be, Bama Big Man, Brenton Odom in Orlando. Good morning to you all. Thank you for watching on Facebook. Shelby Mitchell telling us on Facebook that she used to live near Jeff Sessions and that he had a nice yard. Now, I don't have a nice yard. I could, but I question the amount of time. I come from a family where I don't want to pay somebody to, I just feel it's wrong to pay somebody to do my yard work when I'm physically able to do my own. And at the same time, I don't want to get out. I don't want to make it some mission to clip things that they've got to be clipped a certain way all the time. There's other things to do other than get out there and clip a bunch of bushes. So you would not be jealous of my yard. My yard is it looks like a battle between mankind and wilderness, and sometimes the wilderness gets the better of me. There are some things that probably should be clipped, but I don't. I've got other things to do, and I'm not going to pay somebody to go out there and do it. So it'll get done when it gets done. Let's see. Ariel, please join me. I want to ask you about this because Ariel has the father. She was raised in a household of females. Mama, 4 sisters, Ariel Monique, and then the dad.
Yeah.
Now, the yard work, were the female citizens pushed into yard work, or did Dad take care of all of the yard work?
My dad. In fact, my sister owns a home, and he still goes to cut her grass. In fact, today he's going to go cut her grass.
So he did all the yard work, and now he also does yard work for his daughter?
Yes.
At a different
and
residence.
I'm sure when I own a home, he will probably do my yard work as well. I don't know. I mean, maybe one day I'll figure out how to start a lawnmower and push it, but then again,
why would you? No,
I could just get him to do it.
Why would you if somebody's going to do it for you?
Well, because sometimes you just need to know how to do things for yourself.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
But that is really interesting. So your dad wants to mow his daughter's yard. Is this to stay close to the daughter, or he doesn't want her to mess with the equipment?
Because she doesn't know how. She doesn't know how. But I'm sure we could all figure it out. Couple YouTube videos, I could figure out how to start a lawnmower.
No, well, yeah, it's not hard to start a lawnmower.
Yeah, no. It's talking to a person who has never changed a tire in her life as well. So manual outside labor, not really my thing. But then again, I put together a basketball goal this weekend with a screwdriver by myself. I think I can do some yard work.
I'm sure you could. I'm
probably not going to, though.
Well, this is something. Maybe this could be a series of adventures for you that could be documented on YouTube video or Facebook Live.
Right.
With Ariel learns to do this and then learns to do that.
The only problem is my dad would never let me mow his lawn.
Okay.
He's very serious about his garden and his lawn.
Oh, it's got to look pristine?
Yes. In fact, every year he wins the neighborhood award for the best yard. He's he starts as soon as he gets the first little warm feel, he goes to Lowe's and buys a bunch of flowers and plants and stuff, and you should see our yard. It's kind of ridiculous.
Okay, well, he would not like my yard. He would not like my yard.
No, he would have in fact, he critiques people's yard when he rides
would
past
not.
it.
He would want to know what I've been up to.
Right.
That some of the bushes look like they need to be trimmed back. What am I up to? He
would
want to
say
know.
that person is reckless and just doesn't care.
You're right. All right, well, Ariel, thank you. Ariel's father, very and it may be because he's a preacher, and people judge the preacher. They do. The preacher, if they see the preacher's car parked in front of the wrong place, the preacher's judged. All right, stand by. We go back to radio. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. Talked a lot today about Jeff Sessions' testimony. Email address unclehenry@gmail.com. That's unclehenry@gmail.com. Jeff Sessions testifying today. Very exciting. You have Dennis Rodman in North Korea possibly bringing some diplomacy. Maybe he'll calm down the dictator. and talk the dictator out of shooting missiles for the benefit of the dictator, because certainly if the dictator starts shooting missiles that get really close to us, it'll be really bad for the dictator. North Korea will not, they're just not going to do good if they keep acting like they want to shoot us with a missile. It's just not going to turn out good for them. So maybe Dennis Rodman can talk some sense into this guy. If anybody can, maybe Dennis Rodman and the dictator together can add up to some common sense. It may take more than one person in that situation, but combined, they may reach logic together. So I wouldn't hold my breath, but you never know. We have that, and then the Bill Cosby case went to the jury last night in a move that, now I'm not a lawyer. I don't understand a lot about the law, thank goodness. I'm very blessed to be ignorant of legal matters because I've not been on trial, not yet. But after all this stuff in the Cosby trial, the defense calls one witness and it's 6 minutes and that's it. So was that a stroke of genius or was that a massive mistake? Now, if I were, and again, I have not been on trial yet, but if I were on trial and I had all the money of Bill Cosby, I would want as big a defense as I would have a bunch of lawyers. I wouldn't have just a few. I'd have as many as I could afford. A lot of them in there. I'd want them to tag team. I'd want one guy, and then I want him to tag out to the lady, and then I want her to tag out to somebody else. I'd want a tag team, bunch of lawyers. I want every kind of bit of lawyer going on there. I'd want character witnesses. Bill Cosby was known for philanthropic and charitable things from the 1960s onward, so I'd want people, character witnesses going back to the 1960s, all through the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Expert witnesses. I would want as big a defense that money could buy. That's not, they didn't pick that strategy. Their strategy is very different. Their strategy is 6 minutes of defense, and then the jury has to decide whether or not Cliff Huxtable goes to jail. So, it will be, it's either going to be one way or the other. Genius attorney or terrible attorney. We'll find out when the jury comes back with their verdict. They deliberated last night and already asked for parts of the deposition that dealt with him giving people drugs and things. So I don't know how good that looks for Bill Cosby and his attorney. All right, let's see. We have news headlines coming up in a moment here on the Uncle Henry Show. I was talking about Dennis Rodman going to North Korea, and reporters were asking Dennis Rodman if he was taking a message from President Trump, which sounds silly maybe to you, unless you were a fan of The Celebrity Apprentice. And remember that Dennis Rodman was on The Celebrity Apprentice twice. So Dennis Rodman and Donald Trump, they do know each other and have spent some time together, worked together, so to speak, on The Celebrity Apprentice. And I had a listener, Jason, email me saying that Chuck Barris, the host of The Gong Show, used to work for the NSA, and Elvis worked for the government, so maybe Dennis Rodman is working for the government. I've got another email on that topic. Subject line on the email is Chuck Barris and Elvis. Email reads, Dear Uncle Henry, a little diversion. Chuck Barris, host of The Gong Show, claimed he was an assassin for the CIA, but those claims were denied by the CIA. He wrote Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, where he said he had killed 33 people for the U.S. government, which was also denied. He would later say he applied for the CIA but was not accepted, and the book was an imagination of the life he would have had if he had been in the CIA. Elvis collected badges and thought he could get a DEA badge from Nixon, so he wrote him saying he could help spread anti-drug messages to the youth, but could only do it with some authority. Nixon thought the PR move would help his image, met with Elvis and gave him an honorary DEA badge. Elvis gave Nixon a gun. Think about that. The king of rock and roll got a pistol all the way to Nixon and gave it to him. Wouldn't happen today, I don't think. And that email from Scotty White of ScottyWhite.com. Well, Scotty, thank you. So, but still, Dennis Rodman now Dennis Rodman is the most, him being an agent of the government is the most plausible of these three things that we are now considering.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. General Electric and Baker Hughes have cleared a major antitrust speed bump in their effort to create the world's second biggest oil field services provider. GE won Justice Department approval to combine its oil and gas business with Baker Hughes. The clearance came just hours after GE said that Jeffrey Immelt, the deal's architect, will step down as CEO. Immelt will serve as chairman of the new Baker Hughes when the deal closes in the middle of this year. Lockheed Martin has been awarded a U.S. Air Force contract valued at up to $108.3 million. The total is more than 0.2% of the company's $47.2 billion in annual revenue. The new contract runs through June of 2027. Work for the contract will be
Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on Facebook. We're in a radio break, a very, very lengthy radio break, so that listeners can get traffic and weather. And let's see, and they're getting news. Now we have news today from Darwin Singleton of Local 15, and also weather from Kelly Foster of Local 15. We have a new partnership with Local 15 that we're very excited about. Ariel, please join me here on Facebook, because the people on Facebook, they've had enough of me, I'm sure. Now, Ariel, I want to ask you, do you know any of the people that work at Local 15?
Well, I did meet Darwin when we did the AFC Jersey Reveal thing at some bar downtown. Can't remember
AFC is the local soccer thing?
Right. So I met him for the first time. Other than that, I'm Facebook friends with Kim Thurman.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay, so it's you and I
worked with them for a little while.
Now wait a minute. You worked with them, but you don't know them.
Now that I think about it, it was a very, very short stint. It was like maybe 2 weeks, and I was doing the U Minute for them about 2 years ago.
Well, tell it, what was that? The U Minute?
Yeah, they have the partner station UTV 44.
Yes.
And so they do this thing called the U Minute, where it's almost like a commercial, and they send you to a certain location, whatever is happening that's a big deal. And I went and I talked about it. I hosted a concert for them once at the Wharf, the Pepsi Countdown to Summer.
So you worked for that company
for about 2 weeks. Yeah.
What happened? Why did you stop working for them?
Very, very shady backdoor dealings. Not on their part. They were good. It was other players that didn't play so fair.
Okay. All right. Okay. And I think I know what you're talking about, and I think we shouldn't go any further.
No, we shouldn't. We
should not talk about all of that. That's water under the bridge.
It is. I have since let that go, and I am at peace with it.
Very good. Yes. All right.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
So 2 weeks with Local 15. So they liked you then.
Yes.
And
I hope they like me now.
They're probably going to like you now.
They probably will. I left on what I believe are good terms. I believe.
Okay.
You never know what people are saying about you at the water cooler.
Have you? That's only happened to. You're right. I've learned not to care.
Oh yeah, I learned that a long time ago.
But I worked with a guy years ago here in this building that on several occasions I would walk down the hall to the break room, and I could hear him loudly talking about me behind my back.
Are you serious?
Yes. And I would get into the break room, and he would look at me startled, but that was it. And he would stop, and that would be fine.
He has no idea how to be a Shady Boots, obviously.
Well, it was, and it didn't bother me. It was the thing, his personality was such that we remained friends. I knew that he still liked me, even though he was dogging me out behind my back.
You should have confronted him to see what he'd say.
It was, look, it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
It would have been very great. So what's that you said about me?
It was wonderful. He was a wonderful man, and I figured I must have deserved it if he was dogging me out.
Somehow I doubt anybody dogging you out is wonderful.
Well, he was you'd have to have known him.
Okay.
The late, great Scott O'Brien, who used to work here for many, many years.
Okay. I'll take your word.
Yeah, take my word on that. Okay. So Local 15, we're just starting the partnership. You may end up back on UTV 44 before you know it.
I'd welcome it.
Of course.
I make good money. Yeah. I would definitely go for that.
Oh, the word money. I don't know that there's any of that. I don't know that there's any of that.
I didn't dye my hair green for any reason. I dyed it green for the money.
Wait a second. You dyed your hair green?
You haven't noticed?
Your hair is green this morning?
My hair has been green for about a week.
Green?
Yes. Well, it's aquamarine.
See, I'm partially colorblind.
Oh.
So I can't tell. You've got green hair?
Yes.
What did you do that for?
Actually, I don't know. I have no idea. I just did.
Have other people noticed it's green?
Yes. They have. I've gotten several compliments on it. Apparently, it complements my skin tone.
What does your family think about it? What does your dad think about this?
He surprisingly hasn't said a word. He hasn't said a word. My mom, she's kind of used to it because this isn't the first time I've had color hair. I've had purple, blue, red, green by accident once. This time it's on purpose.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Why green?
I don't know. It was always a color that I like. It's aquamarine, so it's like a bluish green. And it was something I always wanted to do, but just never did because I didn't have that kind of job. And now that I do, I figure, why not?
Okay. Radio is the kind of job where you can dye your hair green.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
We're poor and we're entertaining.
All right. Well, Ariel, thank you. This has been another shock conversation where I've learned a lot about Ariel today, including that her middle name is Monique, and that she is called Monique by the family, and that and I'm partially colorblind, so I didn't notice that her hair was aquamarine. I guess I need to, Ariel, please let me know when you shift hair color so that we can at least address it on the air. All right, stand by. We're going to be going back to radio here in just a moment, where I'm forced to talk about major news items that I would really care not to talk about, but you've got to talk about them. All right, here we go. Back on the radio in 30 seconds.
Conviction, available on iHeartRadio. On Wrongful Conviction, I interview a different exoneree every week and help them to tell their incredible stories of tragedy and triumph against impossible odds. You've got to hear it to believe it. Wrongful Conviction from iHeart Studios, available now on iHeartRadio.
We love Nick Saban. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. The Daily Reagan coming up in about 15 minutes. An exciting day for many people in Lower Alabama. Mobile, Alabama's Jeff Sessions testifying before the Senate Intelligence Committee. Let's talk to Reagan Girl. Hello, Reagan Girl.
Good morning, Uncle Henry. I really wish that you had that audio clip where the gentleman says, now, y'all just need to back off. Y'all just need to back off. I wish you had that handy.
Why?
Oh, because it goes into my phone call.
All right. Well, explain.
Okay. Well, when it comes to Senator Sessions, they just need to back off, because I am sick and tired of his integrity being attacked and him being called a racist. I'm sick and tired of it, Uncle Henry. And what I hope that this wonderful man does when he testifies today, I hope that he totally blows the lid off of Comey and how the deep state and all of these liberals are trying to assassinate President Trump's character. I'm sick and tired of it.
Well, we know he's got something to say. He would not have volunteered to do this publicly, so I don't know if he's going to blow a lid off of something, but I'm sure he's going to have something really interesting to say that we're all going to want to hear.
Well, I hope so. I really hope so. But I'm sick and tired of these liberals attacking Jeff Sessions. I'm tired of it. And I hope once and for all it is proven that there was no collusion, that the election was not rigged. Hillary just ran a bad campaign, and we did not want her as president.
All right, well, look, if you're tired, people are going to attack him no matter what. We're in a situation in the country where the polarization is that people are going to attack each other on each side, so I try not to let it get you down. He's going to be attacked no matter what. Let's see. We have Dr. Quayle. Hello, Dr. Quayle.
Hello, how you doing, Uncle Henry?
I'm fine.
I've been listening to your show for around 12 years, and I really enjoy it. But I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Are you on medication?
Well, I have some, like a lot of people, as an older American, I have a few things I take, yes.
Mm-hmm. Are you seeing a psychiatrist?
No.
What about a psychologist?
No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you hear voices?
Well, other than you and Ariel, no.
Mm-hmm. And do you like Alabama football?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you like Nick Saban?
I love him.
I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of my patients are Alabama football fans, and they tend to be mentally ill.
All right, that's ridiculous. All right. That was ridiculous. I'm hanging up on you.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Mazda Traffic Center.
Look for accidents on Moffett at the West I-65 Service Road and Airport and Old Government. No major I-10 problems into and out of the area this morning. And the Mobile Bay ferry boat will be departing Dauphin Island at 8 o'clock. Return trip from Fort Morgan at 8:45. They'll be running every 45 minutes today, accommodating RVs and trailers every other trip. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes. To listen to this. Overcoming. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Tuesday's weather is going to be stormy and steamy. Our rain coverage today will be at 60%. Remember, if you hear thunder, you are within striking distance. We will be topping out in the upper 80s. Lows will be in the 70s overnight with a few spotty showers. Wednesday's rain coverage will be at 40%. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News in this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in with them because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but she gave her all. Compassion. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
This morning at 9, Ask the Expert. Then Rush at 11. Right now, it's Uncle Henry on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. The Daily Reagan coming up in about 10 minutes. It is outrageous that somebody would call in and claim to be a doctor and claim that I'm mentally ill because I'm an Alabama fan. It's not even football season. And for this type of thing to happen during a time that we should not be attacking each other over football allegiances, it's really outrageous that somebody would do something like that, especially after we went through the horrible, horrible scene yesterday with Clemson at the White House talking about Clemson beating Alabama at the White House. I think this person, whoever that person claiming to be a doctor that attacked me, they knew that I was going to be a little down because Clemson was at the White House yesterday, and that I might be a little weakened emotionally from Clemson being at the White House, being honored by the president, and they saw an opportunity to attack me. Well, knock it off! All right, let's talk to Angelo of MobileBayCoins.com, who's recovering from a weekend accident where he used a nail gun to nail himself and is recovering from that. Now, did you get any kind of infection from your nail accident?
No, sir. No, sir. Now, they did put me on antibiotics just to prevent anything like that from happening, gave me a tetanus shot, and everything is actually coming along nicely, thank goodness.
All right, before we get to Father's Day gift ideas from Mobile Bay Coins, Angelo collects knives. He's got anywhere between 300 and 400 knives. I want to get your opinion quickly. Does the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, does that cover knives as well as firearms? Because at the time of the founding of the country, when they were writing all this stuff up, arms used to be swords and knives and bows and arrows and spears and some rinky-dink guns. So does the Second Amendment cover your right to have a bunch of knives?
In my opinion, yes, it does, Uncle Henry. It certainly does.
All right. Just wanted to get that out of the way. I've never heard people talk about that. And I think that it does cover. So I ought to be able to open and carry a machete if I want to.
Well, and again, I guess in New York City or out in California, you can't. But here in Alabama, there's not much you can, and not much that you're prohibited from doing with a knife here in Alabama as far as the carrying laws.
All right. Father's Day is approaching. Mobile Bay Coins is where you can go and get a unique gift idea for Dad. Is there still time, if I came in today, to get an engraved, something personally engraved to Dad?
There certainly is. We've got a great selection of the engravable rounds and bars, everything from I love you to the armed forces to all sort of different sentiments there, the Ten Commandments, the Lord's Prayer. So those can be engraved. You've still got time. You could probably even come in Friday morning and get one engraved, but you're really cutting it close at that point. By Saturday, it'll be too late. And if you don't want to get an engravable piece like that, get them a nice silver dollar. We have everything from circulated silver dollars under $20 all the way up to some really high-grade, beautiful Morgan dollars. We've got those open L knives we've talked about. We've got some nice pieces of jewelry. Maybe get Dad a set of cuff links or a chain, link bracelet, something like that. We could go on all day about the options, sir.
Is a knife engravable?
You can engrave the blade on the knife. Unfortunately, that steel is so hard it doesn't take the engraving well, so I would recommend against it.
Okay.
However, since those open L's have wooden handles, you could take it to a trophy shop, and they can laser burn a name or something in there at a trophy shop.
Okay, well, they've got tremendous. You just heard Angelo go over just a few of the gift ideas. You can find something unique for Dad, and you can have it personalized there. Mobile Bay Coins, 2204 Government Street, Midtown Mobile. Look for them on Facebook. Angelo, have a great day. Be careful with the nail gun.
Radio for real men.
Surprise, surprise.
The Rush Revolution rolls on. Weekdays at 11, News Radio 710, WNTM.
MSNBC's Morning Joe speaks truth to power.
Here's a message to the White House. You keep lying, we're going to keep reporting.
With access to the people who matter.
Is the war on the media over?
From the Senate floor.
One issue you heard there where you thought, okay, maybe we can work with this president on that.
To the Oval Office.
Joe was first to report.
Two sources tell us at Morning Joe.
Through every hallway in the Beltway.
It's time to see.
Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show on Facebook. Good morning to those of you that are still left on Facebook that have a situation in your lives where you're able to watch Facebook before 8 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know what your situation might be. Whether who knows? and I did see just a few moments ago, I saw Scotty White of ScottyWhite.com on Facebook watching. But we're going to be back on the radio in just a moment with the Daily Reagan. In fact, I'm trying to set that up right now. And I think I'm going to have the president talking about tax cuts. Donald Trump keeps wanting tax reform, and that's something that Ronald Reagan also worked hard to do. So I'll share some Ronald Reagan on tax cuts here when we're back on the radio. Now, Angelo nail-gunned his thumb over the weekend. Ariel, please join me. We've learned a lot. I've learned her middle name is Monique, and that she also has never mowed grass, and she has green hair. Have you ever injured yourself?
I broke both of my pinkies.
How did you break your pinkies?
One, I won't discuss how I did it because it doesn't look very good for my character to explain how I did that one. But the other one, I broke in a spacewalk at a May Day.
Okay, so that was just a simple.
Yeah.
But you have
now it doesn't go in. See, like I can't get it to go in.
We can't see it in front of the camera. Can you put it in front of the camera? Oh, there. Okay.
Yeah. See how the rest of my fingers can go side by side? That one.
Oh, you can't move your pinky to.
I can move it, but it doesn't like go in with the rest of them. No matter how hard I try.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You've been maimed.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the one I broke in the spacewalk. The other one, although in my defense, I was defending somebody, so.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is a story maybe for a blog post. How I Hurt My Pinky by Ariel on thebeatofmobile.com.
Maybe.
So we'll look for that in the future.
In the very far, far future.
Oh, it's still that embarrassing a story.
No, it's not embarrassing. It's just, it's probably not. Kids shouldn't fight other kids.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get no more details about it.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask, since Angelo took a nail gun and nailed through his thumb.
Yikes, that sounds so terrible.
It sounds very painful. It sounds like something, yes, you can recover from, but it sounds like it would hurt very much.
Yeah, I'd probably ask him, just cut it off. Just cut the whole thumb off. I don't need it anymore.
Well, he needs his thumb.
Maybe.
Right. Thank you, Ariel. Ariel with a pinky injury. In one of her pinkies from the spacewalk. We've learned a lot about her today. Green hair, pinky injury. Middle name is Monique. Has never mowed grass. All right, we're about to go back to radio right after we get weather from Kelly Foster.
Is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
Hi, neighbor.
Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
Your Tuesday torrential potential is going to be at 60% today. We'll have a mix of clouds and thunderstorms, so sticky and steamy. We will be topping out at 87 degrees. Overnight will be muggy with a few showers, lows in the 70s, and for your Wednesday, a 40% chance of wet weather. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
Roll Tide. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
We've arrived at the Daily Reagan here on the Uncle Henry Show. The Daily Reagan is a presentation of SAD Healthcare. That's spelled with two A's, S-A-A-D, sadhealthcare.com. Here is the president talking about tax cuts.
But when our founding fathers designed this government of, by, and for the people, they never imagined what we've come to know as the progressive income tax. When the income tax was first levied in 1913, the top rate was only 7% on people with incomes over $500,000. Now that's the equivalent of multimillionaires today. But in our lifetime, we've seen marginal tax rates skyrocket as high as 90%, and not even the poor have been spared. As tax rates escalated, the tax code grew ever more tangled and complex, a haven for special interests and tax manipulators, but an impossible frustration for everybody else. Blatantly unfair, our tax code became a source of bitterness and discouragement for the average taxpayer. It wasn't too much to call it un-American. Meanwhile, the steeply progressive nature of the tax struck at the heart of the economic life of the individual, punishing that special effort and extra hard work that has always been the driving force of our economy. As government's hunger for ever more revenues expanded, families saw tax cuts, or taxes, I should say, cut, deeper and deeper into their paychecks. And taxation fell most cruelly on the poor, making a difficult climb up from poverty even harder. Throughout history, the oppressive hand of government has fallen most heavily on the economic life of the individuals. And more often than not, it is inflation and taxes that have undermined livelihoods and constrained their freedoms. We should not forget that this nation of ours began in a revolt against oppressive taxation. Our founding fathers fought not only for our political rights, but also to secure the economic freedoms without which these political freedoms are no more than a shadow.
The Daily Reagan, presented by SAD Healthcare, SAAD, sadhealthcare.com. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. We have news headlines coming up in less than 10 minutes from Fox and from WPMI Local 15's Darwin Singleton. See, the Forbes celebrity list of the highest paid celebrities of the year is out. And I'm bringing it up because there's somebody on the list. I just want to point out that somebody that's on our radio station, News Radio 710 WNTM, is on the list. Now, we're also on 99.5 FM The Jag, and there are some people from The Jag on the list, like LeBron James. He's number 10 on the list, making $86 million a year. So, and that's somebody that's talked about on 99.5 The Jag, LeBron James. But on News Radio 710 WNTM, we have the Rush Limbaugh Show. Rush Limbaugh is tied at number 11 on the world's highest paid celebrities list at $84 million. Now, he does sell books and things like that, but he is, I'm going to guess that most of that is from radio. And I mention it because for the past few years, people have talked about the downfall of Rush Limbaugh, that his career has been on the slide, that he allegedly had lost all these sponsors, and that things just weren't looking as good for Rush Limbaugh as they had been years ago, that he is on the decline. And I would say that being number 11 on the world's highest paid celebrities list at $84 million is pretty good. That is not somebody in decline. And again, I don't think most of that money is from all of his book deals. That most of it's got to come from his radio ventures. So when you I mention this so that when you in fact, the Forbes says that his radio show had a 21% growth in audience during the last presidential election. So radio combined with his book series for kids and his website, $84 million. So when you hear the stories, and they're going to be stories in the next few years, where people are going to claim that he's not what he used to be, just remember, $84 million for the 2017 celebrity earnings list from Forbes magazine. That is not somebody in decline. In fact, that's a big bump. He was number 66 last year. Now he's up to number 11, tied with Guns N' Roses. Not bad. Especially not bad for a guy that's on AM radio in many cities in the country. I find it quite inspirational. It's probably difficult for me to become a millionaire, but based on the inspiration of seeing Rush at number 11 on the list, I may become a thousandaire. I may become a thousandaire at some point if I work hard enough. All right, we're out of time for this hour. When we come back, additional hour of Uncle Henry's show next. Many things to get into, including Jeff Sessions' testimony, the word fubbing. And don't worry, that's not a dirty word. It's a new word. Doesn't sound good, but it's not dirty. Maybe more on Dennis Rodman. And some things going on locally as well as the Uncle Henry Show continues after the news break.
Take care of your skin. See Dr. Thomas Bender at Advanced Dermatology and Skincare Center. Dr. Bender sees patients in Mobile, Daphne, and Bay Minette. Find out more online at advanceddermclinic.com. Hey, if you have a tree problem, call Donnie Chastang at Chastang's Tree Service for a free estimate. Telephone number 251-342-4667. Donnie Chastang with Chastang's Tree Service.
I'm Scott Armstrong with Kimco Metal Buildings. Whether you need a building for commercial, storage, church, or community use, Kimco has been designing and constructing the highest quality steel buildings for our customers for almost 50 years. Kimco will use state-of-the-art software and our many years of experience to help you custom design your new metal building. Check out our website at kimcobuildings.com. That's KEMKO, or call us at 251-626-0594.
Angelo's here from Mobile Bay Coins. Angelo, I love the knives I bought from you, those weird French knives.
Isn't that strange?
Why do you carry French knives? How did that happen that you have French knives?
Strangely enough, I have a buddy of mine, a knife buddy in France, Kevin Birchet. It's actually Kevin Berger, if you're American. If he's listening, it's Kevin. He's corrected me on the air before with that one. Opinel is a French brand of knife. It's been around since about 1890, classic French design. Everybody over there carries them and knows what they are. We introduced those to Mobile here at the Coin Shop.
Great knives. I use mine in the kitchen, but you have knives for many purposes.
You could have a pocket knife. You could have a little keychain knife. They even carry an oyster knife. And as you mentioned, they have those great kitchen knives.
An oyster? They have oysters in France?
Well, they call them shellfish over there because the French are very shellfish people.
Okay, the knives are Opinel knives?
Opinel. Classic design, been around for 100 plus.
Mobile Bay Coins, 2204 Government Street in Midtown. Look for Mobile Bay Coins on Facebook.
Your home for traffic and weather on the nines every morning. News Radio 710 WNTM, Mobile, and iHeart Radio Station 99.9 WMXC HD3 Mobile. 710 Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Volvo Traffic Center.
We are still looking at a couple of accidents on the board. Moffett at the West I-65 Service Road and Airport at Old Government. Both of those scenes, though, should be clear shortly. No major I-10 problems this morning. It's been kind of a wet ride, particularly for those of you in the eastern part of the area, but we haven't had any major impact on traffic from the rain throughout the region. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
While many rose up with violence, he sat down for peace. Mahatma Gandhi reached out with the strength he cultivated within his soul. So, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kimco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
It is It's going to be a sticky and stormy Tuesday along the Gulf Coast. We will have about a 60% chance of afternoon storms. Highs will top in the upper 80s, lows in the 70s, a 40% chance of wet weather for your Wednesday, and highs will be flirting with 90 in spots. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeart radio station.
It's the Attorney General's turn to go under oath. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. Jeff Sessions, who recused himself in the Russia investigation, no doubt faces questions about it later today on Capitol Hill. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the Attorney General will testify in an open session before the Senate Intelligence Committee, the same panel that grilled fired FBI Director James Comey. The man who replaced Sessions in the Senate, Republican Luther Strange, talked to Fox and Friends.
I'm glad Jeff's testifying today. He will acquit himself very well. He'll answer the questions.
Those questions likely to include what kind of contacts did Sessions have with Russian officials during the 2016 campaign? Lawmakers also expected to ask Sessions about his role in Comey's dismissal, as well as about Comey's claim that he left him alone with the president. Dave?
Rachel, the president has just tweeted about former Attorney General Loretta Lynch, saying she made law enforcement decisions for political purposes, gave Hillary Clinton a free pass and protection, totally illegal. Last week, fired FBI Director Comey testified Lynch told him to refer to the Clinton email case as a matter, not an investigation. President Trump also tweeted the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled against his travel ban as predicted, calling this a dangerous time in the history of our country.
The Ninth Circuit Court said in signing the travel ban, the president overstepped the power given to him by Congress under the Immigration and Nationality Act. They say he failed to prove why the ban on refugees, as well as travel from 6 countries, was needed.
Fox's
a White House spokesman said the order will be upheld once the Supreme Court reviews it.
That's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. A prisoner escaped in Georgia where 2 guards were shot and killed on a prison bus in Putnam County this morning. Then 2 prisoners carjacked a vehicle and took off. In Oakland, a celebration.
We did it! We won!
The Warriors are NBA champs.
It's monumental. This is once in a lifetime.
Well, not quite. It's Golden State's second title in 3 years. Kevin Durant named MVP, scoring 39 points to finish off Cleveland 129-120 in Game 5 of the Finals. Fox News. Farron.
A close call for some boaters near Dauphin Island. Good morning. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton with your local news headlines at this hour. 2 children and 2 adults are safe this morning after their vessel capsized in the Intracoastal Waterway. It happened Monday just before noon when a Coast Guard boat and a helicopter crew were called to the site just north of Dauphin Island. The children and the grown-ups were pulled from the water and safely taken to the Coast Guard station on Dauphin Island. A small group of Mobilians lit candles and read the names of those killed 1 year ago in the Orlando Pulse nightclub shooting. Those who gathered in downtown Mobile say they wanted to show solidarity with those still dealing with the 49 deaths, that tragedy in Florida last year. Brian Funmayer, the organizer of the event, says they feel as though they're one family, saying what happens to them happens to us as well. Mobile Sheriff's investigators say an 18-year-old has confessed to vandalizing a Wilmer church. Troy Albert Hall has been arrested and charged with the Labor Day trashing of the Wilmer United Methodist Church, a break-in that left the church with graffiti on the walls and $25,000 in damages. The thieves even stole $150 from an offering envelope. Sheriff's detectives say that there is a juvenile who was also involved, and the community has been more than willing to help in this investigation. News breaks while you sleep, so when you wake, we'll catch you up on what's happening along the Gulf Coast and around the world every weekday morning on Local 15 Today. We start at 5 a.m. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton for this iHeart radio station.
When you're hiring for a growing business, you don't need lots of candidates. You need the right candidates. You need Indeed.com. With an algorithm that positions your job post where quality candidates are and screener questions that help you zero in on the best talent. Indeed.com, the site proven through an independent study to deliver 5 times more hires than any other. New users claim your $50 credit for a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Greta is a drill instructor.
Move, move, move!
Yes, ma'am. When it comes to training lean, mean, fighting machines, she doesn't mess around.
Drop and give me 3,000.
But when it comes to getting a mortgage, Greta's less confident.
I got nothing.
Fortunately for Greta, there's Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. It's simple, so she can understand the details and know she's getting the right mortgage. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Go to rocketmortgage.com today.
Equal housing lender license in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
From the Mercedes-Benz Mobile Studios, this is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. The Uncle Henry Show still on the air, still employed here. News Radio 710 WNTM, 99.5 FM The Jag. If you would like to look at me, you can go to the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. We have live video there so that you can look at me and determine whatever it is you want to determine about me by analyzing my body language, both consciously and subconsciously, and also making judgments on my taste in clothing and my grooming habits. Now, there are some people in the audience that have expressed a desire to know what the president is tweeting because they, for whatever reason, are unable to monitor the Twitter feed of President Trump. The president, I will tell you now, the president has been tweeting a lot this morning. The president has been tweeting this morning, several tweets. Now, 13 hours ago, the president tweeted a congratulations to Clemson for their football victory over the Alabama Crimson Tide. I do not like that tweet. And unfortunately, there's not a way to hit an unlike button on. I would unlike that if Twitter offered that. But let me share with you the tweets from the president that he has tweeted this morning. Tweet number 1. The fake news media has never been so wrong or so dirty. Purposely incorrect stories and phony sources to meet their agenda of hate. Sad. So that's tweet number 1. Tweet number 2. Well, as predicted, the Ninth Circuit did it again, ruled against the travel ban at such a dangerous time in the history of our country. And then the letters SC referring to Supreme Court. Then there was a retweet. The president retweeted. Some young lady in her tweet said, liberals have an agenda and it's not in America's best interest. Keep fighting the good fight. We stand with you, President Trump. And that lady got retweeted and probably now has gained maybe 10,000 new followers because he retweeted her. Now, there are additional tweets. Yes, he's tweeted even more. We've got to get traffic and weather. We have traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the nines. So let me share with you the traffic and then the weather with Kelly Foster of Local 15. She's doing an outstanding job using some very descriptive words for her weather forecasts like steamy and sticky. And then when we come back after traffic and weather together, I will share with you the other tweets. There are more tweets. I will share them with you next.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
We have picked up a couple of pretty serious accidents. Both of these involve at least one injury and road blockage. Southbound Highway 59 at County Road 8 and in Mary Esther Parish Boulevard at Highway 98. Also Dauphin and McGregor Avenue in Mobile. That one working as well. No major problems on I-10 crossing the Bayway this morning, at least so far. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
Tuesday's weather is going to be stormy and steamy. Our rain coverage today will be at 60%. Remember, if you hear thunder, you are within striking distance. We will be topping out in the upper 80s. Lows will be in the 70s overnight with a few spotty showers. Wednesday's rain coverage will be at 40%. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation. Join the T.J. Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn more.
Unlimited streaming of all your favorite music right at your fingertips in the iHeartRadio app. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Open the iHeartRadio app and listen today.
Your home for traffic and weather on the nines every morning. This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. There are two more tweets from the president. I'm sharing these for the people that have contacted me wishing that I would share the tweets because they, for whatever reason, are not, they just don't have available, maybe they don't have internet or don't want to look at Twitter. Here are the final 2 tweets from the president that he tweeted out less than 30 minutes ago. These are fresh tweets, fresh from the President of the United States. Tweet 1, Attorney General Lynch made law enforcement decisions for political purposes, gave Hillary Clinton a free pass and protection. Totally illegal. And then the final tweet, fake news is at an all-time high. Where is their apology to me for all of the incorrect stories? Question mark, question mark, question mark. So those are the tweets this morning. The president tweeting up a storm today. Tweeting up a storm. And I don't know how much, I'm sure of all the tweets, the Attorney General Lynch tweet will get some attention and maybe some commentary in the news. The other tweets, a couple of tweets about the news media and fake news, probably won't get as much attention because we've heard that charge before. Let me go to the email inbox. I've got an email about the Trump tweets. Subject line on the email is thanks. Email reads, Uncle Henry, thank you for reading Trump tweets for people too lazy to get on the Twitter themselves. And that email from Curtis. Curtis, it's probably not laziness. It might be confusion. Many people intimidated by Twitter. They don't understand how the machinery works. They don't know if how to operate it. So it may not be that they're lazy. It may be that they have a lack of something else going on. I don't want to characterize them. Maybe they don't understand it. They don't know where to find it. They're afraid they'll get charged for it. Who knows? But I want to help who else is going to help these people? Remember, Curtis, I do a kindness for these people that don't understand Twitter, and maybe one day they'll do a kindness for me or do a kindness for someone else, and we pay it forward like they do in the movies and on Oprah. Will he also tweet during Jeff Sessions? Now, he didn't tweet during the Comey testimony. Will he tweet during the Jeff Sessions test? I hope he does. Or I hope one of his children tweets during the Jeff Sessions testimony. Yes, Jeff Sessions testifying today, 1:30 this afternoon, Senate Intelligence Committee. Jeff Sessions volunteering to testify before this committee and also wanting to do it in an open session, in public, in front of the cameras. That tells me really all I need to know. There's something he wants out there. Jeff Sessions, and if you're worried about Jeff Sessions being asked mean questions or biased questions, Jeff Sessions used to ask the questions. So he knows how to handle himself. He'll be able to handle whatever's thrown at him. I believe he is well prepared and will handle whatever is thrown at him. But to volunteer to do this in an open session, it tells me there's something he wants us to know. I'm really looking forward to finding out what it is.
Journey, Neil Sean, Ross Valerie, Jonathan Kane, Steve Smith, Arnel Pineda. 2017 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
All right, Uncle Henry Show here on Twitter, not on Twitter, on Facebook. Although the video has been shared on Twitter from time to time. Now we're in a radio break. Let's listen, if we can, briefly to the Journey commercial.
The Wharf Amphitheater, July 6th. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Now, do you care, you the Journey fan, do you care that it's not the guy the original lead singer, that they went out and found somebody that sounds like him? Do you care?
For VIP packages and more, visit JourneyMusic.com. Part of the C Spire concert series.
Does it matter? I don't think it matters to people. I thought it did, that it matters, and I don't think it does. And I say that because I went to the Black Jacket Symphony, where they have really talented musicians pretending to be these famous groups, and I saw the Black Jacket Symphony. They did the Eagles, and about 3 songs into the Eagles concert, some man, he looked like he was about 45, 50 years old, he stood up in the audience at the Sanger Theater and was screaming, "Woo-hoo! Woo!" He was screaming as the people were. Now, the people on stage were not really the Eagles. They were pretending to be the Eagles, and the man didn't care. He was standing up in the crowd and he was screaming, and so I guess people don't care if it's really not the guy, the lead singer of Journey. I'm just curious about the psychology of it. Of course, when you go to the Journey concert, you're still paying for most of the group. There's still some authentic Journey people in there that you have to pay for. In fact, that makes me curious. I'm going to look. I want to find out what a VIP experience is. Ariel, could you join me here for a moment? Ariel's probably going to a lot of concerts. Ariel, have you gone to any or know anything about these VIP packages with these concerts?
Nope, not at all.
Nothing.
Nothing.
All right, let me see. Let's see, Journey in Baltimore it's the same concert that's coming to the Wharf and VIP packages. I'm going to click on that. Mm-hmm. Let me see what how many tickets do I want? 2.
Okay.
Let's see. The most expensive ticket, $367 each.
Oh, wow.
$367 each.
So what do you get in this VIP package?
I don't know. I'm trying to find out. They need to, maybe they teach you how to change a tire.
I know in most VIP packages, you get this meet and greet with the artist. Everybody except Beyonce. Beyonce does not do meet and greets. In fact, your VIP package, you get a T-shirt and an autographed photo, and that's it.
That is quite a bit of money.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here's what
access to food.
All right. One package is front row ticket. Pre-show reception with drinks and appetizers, including alcoholic beverages. A Journey tote bag, commemorative VIP laminate, commemorative VIP concert ticket, an opportunity to buy merchandise before the show, and then an on-site host. So you don't meet them, but you go to a reception and you get a host.
What?
Yeah.
No, for $300+ like me and you need to have a sit down.
Yes.
We need a sit down. Like we need to have a conversation with each other.
I agree.
$300 of my dollars.
$300
of my dollars has bought you, sir.
That's a car payment. That's a lot of things for a lot of people. All right, thank you, Ariel. We go back to radio where we don't talk about Journey.
This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. So Jeff Sessions testifying today. That's going to get a lot of attention, and looking forward to it. As I've mentioned numerous times this morning, I'm sure he has something to tell us since he's volunteered to do an open session testimony before the Intelligence Committee. He knows his way around questioning. He used to be the one to ask the questions. He was a U.S. attorney. He was an Alabama attorney general. He was a senator. He's been on these committees himself, so he knows this is his arena. He knows what he's getting into, and he obviously has something he wants to tell, so I'm looking forward to whatever it might be. That's one big story today. The other story, the very uncomfortable story that people don't necessarily want to consider, but it's out there, is the Bill Cosby trial, where Bill Cosby is accused of doing some very nasty things, something that you wouldn't want. Just a terrible thing what he's accused of. And in what some people see as a shock, at least I do, maybe you don't, his defense, they didn't really defend. They had about 6 minutes of defense, and then that was it. So it's gone to the jury. The jury got the case late yesterday and was deliberating at night. No telling how long it'll take in a case like this, but the jury's got it. They've already asked to look at some of the deposition stuff about him giving drugs to women. So Bill Cosby with a defense that was only 6 minutes long. Now, if I had his money and I were on trial for anything, I would want a lot more than 6 minutes, just to be safe. In fact, if I had his money and I was going on trial and there's the possibility I could go to jail for 10 years, I would want enough lawyers that they could carry me in on their shoulders. That there would be like 7 or 8 of them in there carrying me in. I'd want maybe even more. I'd want them to tag team. I'd want a lot. Just because I'd want to do everything I could possibly do. They must be confident in their strategy to only give 6 minutes of defense. As Fred Richardson would say, time holds the answer to everything. In time, we'll all know. And that also may happen this afternoon, that a verdict is returned at the same time that we're getting the Jeff Sessions stuff that is going on. Also going on in Mobile, Alabama. Mobile City Council meeting today. And people have signed up to talk, as it's it's been a year since the Michael Moore shooting. Very controversial shooting in Mobile, where a police officer pulled over a car with Michael Moore, and Michael Moore was shot, and local authorities saying that there's nothing to prosecute there. And you may wonder about the Justice Department, because the Justice Department also was looking into this. And I'd wondered about this myself, because we haven't heard anything out of the Justice Department. It's been a year. Well, according to AL.com, the Justice Department is we're still waiting. The FBI and the Department of Justice investigated. They presented it to the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, and the Civil Rights Division has not issued anything on this. And when asked about it, the U.S. Attorney's Office says that they will not predict when a result might come. Now, what could take a year? There's obviously a lot I'm ignorant about, and I don't know why things have to take so long, but it seems like quite a long time that it would take a year to handle all of this. So the community, many people in the community still waiting to hear what the Department of Justice has to say on this case out of the Civil Rights Division. And at the same time, there is a civil case that may go to trial, according to AL.com, in October. So you may not have heard much about this case over the past several months, but It has not gone away. You've got the Department of Justice that will eventually say something about it, and also a civil trial that will move forward at some point, maybe later this year. And today, there are going to be people at the Mobile City Council meeting that have some criticism of the police, saying that things have not improved. Things that they thought should be improved have not been improved, or something like this. We'll know more about that, of course, after they have their say today. And that's another thing that you'll be able to look at if you choose to watch, as city council meetings are streamed live on YouTube. So there's a lot of things to look out for today. With Jeff Sessions' testimony, city council meeting today, many other things as well. Stick with us. More Uncle Henry Show to come after, for you, the radio listener, news, traffic, weather, etc., etc.
The Democrats' quest to explain to themselves why they lost continued recently at something called the People's Summit in Chicago. Van Jones, Obama's Green Czar, decided to blame Hillary Clinton. He blasted her and her campaign for tricking Democrats into fighting among themselves over the wrong issues. Van Jones said the Clinton team based their campaign on a false narrative. They acted as if they had to choose between racial justice for people of color or the white working class. He called it the stupidest false choice he'd ever heard of. He also laid into the campaign for spending all that money on themselves, pollsters and consultants, instead of campaigning. He said they took $1 billion, they set it on fire, they called it a campaign. He argued the money should have been given back to the people, and that Democrats should stop getting rich off of other people's struggles. Now, he's mostly right. Hillary did squander $1 billion, which came primarily from super rich donors, not the people. He's also right that the political establishment class got rich, very rich. Even if they lose election after election, they get rich. It happens in both parties. But his complaint that Hillary campaigned on identity politics, come on, Van. That's what the whole Democrat Party has run on for 50 years. Hillary was just following the script. Except this time it didn't work because she was such a lousy candidate, nothing would have helped. Get over it. Imagine that I only gave you part of a news story. It'd be pretty hard to follow, right? Well, that's exactly what happens when you rely on your credit card and bank statements to protect your identity. I mean, sure, your bank can help detect credit card fraud, but not the many other ways your identity can be stolen, like when somebody opens a new account or applies for an online loan in your name. That's why there's LifeLock. LifeLock uses technology to alert you to a wider range of identity threats, and if you have a problem, one of their U.S.-based specialists will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But with LifeLock, you can get more comprehensive identity protection than you can get anywhere else. Join now, get 10% off when you visit lifelock.com/rush or call them. 800-440-4833. Use the promo code RUSH. That's lifelock.com/rush and save 10%.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Look for an accident spot in Mobile, at Dolphin and McGregor Avenue, and a couple of crashes with injury on the board as well. One of them in Mary Esther. It's on Parish Boulevard at Highway 98 and southbound Highway 59 at County Road 8. Look for the flashing lights in all of those locations. A drive on I-10 crossing the Bayway and I-65 from Pritchard to Chickasaw still moving well at this stage. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
It is going to be a sticky and stormy Tuesday along the Gulf Coast. We will have about a 60% chance of afternoon storms. Highs will top in the upper 80s, lows in the 70s. A 40% chance of wet weather for your Wednesday, and highs will be flirting with 90 in spots. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeart radio station.
Sessions takes center stage in the Senate. Good morning. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton. These are your local news headlines of this hour. Another dramatic day on Capitol Hill, and this time, former U.S. Senator from Mobile, Jeff Sessions, will be in the hot seat. He'll be testifying as U.S. Attorney General before the Senate Intelligence Committee, which is investigating Russian interference in U.S. elections. He'll also be grilled about his own behavior, an issue first brought up before the committee last week by fired FBI Director James Comey. What's not clear is if Sessions will invoke executive privilege to avoid answering certain questions. It'll be the first time Sessions has testified in Congress since recusing himself from matters surrounding the Russia probe. Funeral arrangements have been set for 12-year-old Naomi Jones, that little girl found dead under a bridge in 8 Mile Creek in Pensacola. The funeral will be this Friday at noon at the Olive Baptist Church, and the public is welcome to come pay respects. Naomi's mom is requesting a Hello Kitty theme with everyone wearing pink and white. Robert Howard of Bruton, Alabama, remains in jail this morning, charged with murder in connection with Naomi's disappearance and death. A Mobile man is behind bars today, charged with stealing from a church. Police say Willard Moody was arrested early yesterday morning. He's accused of stealing lumber multiple times from Hillcrest Baptist Church. Someone tipped off authorities, and Willard was pulled over and arrested near the same church. He's facing 4 theft charges this morning. News breaks while you sleep, so when you wake, we'll catch you up on what's happening along the Gulf Coast and around the world every weekday morning on Local 15 Today. We start at 5 a.m. I'm Darwin Singleton for Local 15 News and this iHeart radio station.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. President Trump reacting on Twitter to another loss in court for his travel ban.
President Trump is upset with the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco, tweeting the court did it again, ruled against a travel ban at such a dangerous time in the history of our country. The Ninth Circuit ruled the president overstepped his authority by issuing the executive order, temporarily restricting travel from 6 predominantly Muslim nations considered terror threats.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. 2 inmates have killed 2 guards on a prison bus in Georgia, then carjacked someone to get away. The Golden State Warriors win their 2nd NBA title in 3 years, beating Cleveland 129-120 last night. Series MVP Kevin Durant.
I come to bring it every day. I work hard. I believe in myself. I believe in the game. I respect the game. I love the game.
It's the 3rd year in a row with the Warriors and Cavaliers in the finals. Cleveland won last year, Golden State the year before. Fox News. We report, you decide.
This is Uncle Henry with news and comment. The number of obese people in the world is going up. I'll explain after this for SAD Healthcare. SAD Healthcare reminding you that your healthcare is your choice. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Uncle Henry Show here on Facebook. Thank you for watching the Uncle Henry Show on Facebook, whatever your purpose is. Even if you're watching to be critical, thank you for watching the show on Facebook. We still have some show left to go. Right now we're in a radio break, and I'm sharing information in an Uncle Henry News and Comment. There was a study out yesterday. You may have seen the story. New England Journal of Medicine reporting that obesity globally is rising. It's rising all over the world. 10% of the world is obese. And this is even happening in countries that were known for food shortages. They don't have there's not been a lot of research into why. The speculation is that a lot of the cheapest food is highly processed and not good for you. And it's also a lot of money goes into marketing the cheap food. And it's something I didn't understand that for many years. But now I've really come to understand it, that when you go shopping for groceries, most of the cheapest stuff is not good for you at all. And if you want healthier stuff, you're going to have to pay more. So I don't know. I don't know what the world, since this is now a global problem, I don't know what the world is going to do unless they decide they're going to tax unhealthy food to try and force us to stop eating it. All right, let's see. We're going back to radio here in about 20 seconds.
Understand fully mortgage confidently. Go to rocketmortgage.com today.
Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you so much for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Let's see, the president has tweeted again. All right, let me go. First, I'm going to go to the email inbox because I mentioned in the last segment of the show that the city council meeting today, you have a lot of people showing up to talk about the 1 year anniversary of the Michael Moore shooting, with some people, I think, offering criticisms or complaints about the police department. And I mentioned that this is going to be live on YouTube if you want to watch it on YouTube, and you have the ability to do so. And I have an email about it. Subject line on the email is, I have a request. Email reads, Uncle Henry, YouTube confuses me. During the city council meeting, would you get on Facebook and give a play-by-play of the city council meeting? And that is from Curtis. No, I can't. I'm going to be busy really most of the day and into the afternoon, and I won't have time. All of this stuff I'm going to have to find out about later because I'll be busy. But if I could, I would. Sorry, but I cannot give you a play-by-play of the city council meeting. I'll have to watch it myself later tonight before going to bed. Now, the president tweeted again. The latest tweet from the president reads, heading to the great state of Wisconsin to talk about jobs, jobs, jobs. Big progress being made as the Real News is reporting. So the president is going to Wisconsin to talk about jobs, but it's going to be hard to get people to pay attention to that because the Attorney General is going to be testifying today in the afternoon. So as much as he wants us to pay attention to what he has to say about jobs, a lot of people are not, because they're going to have Jeff Sessions' testimony to consider this afternoon. And speaking of the president, there's a story out about the president and Cuba, with sources claiming that the president is going to tighten restrictions that had been loosened up during President Obama's term. I'll give you what few details are available on that right after we check traffic and weather together. We do it every 10 minutes on the Nines.
We have been seeing some thunderstorms fire up over the eastern part of our region this morning. There is a really heavy one that's kind of sitting over Pensacola right now. This is heavy enough rain to cause some street flooding, so just be aware of that if that's part of your drive this morning. Accidents on the board include Dauphin and McGregor, Cottage Hill, and Abel Court, and still working our crash with injury in Mary Esther, Parish Boulevard, and Highway 98. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by LifeLock. Some mornings, opening your eyes is hard, but LifeLock's eyes are already open to a wide range of identity threats. Stuff you can't see by just monitoring your credit. If something happens, U.S.-based specialists can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com, use promo code RISK, save 10%.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Tuesday's weather is going to be stormy and steamy. Our rain coverage today will be at 60%. Remember, if you hear thunder, you are within striking distance. We will be topping out in the upper 80s. Lows will be in the 70s overnight with a few spotty showers. Wednesday's rain coverage will be at 40%. I'm Kelly Foster for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
This report is brought to you by Always Money. Always Money is the best place to get a title loan. Get up to $10,000 with a clear title to your car. More money in your pocket and low rates. Visit alwaysmoney.com for the store nearest you. Subject to approval.
Your home for Rush every weekday at 11. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. On this show, for several years, there's been talk about Cuba. Longtime listeners, you may remember that I was blessed by being allowed to go on a missionary trip to Cuba back before President Obama had loosened restrictions, and I got to see exactly how people live in Cuba, helping the missionaries with their church work there. Of course, a year or two after I got a chance to go with the church group, President Obama loosened the restrictions on Cuba. Now there's a story out today from public radio saying that President Trump is preparing to announce changes in our policy toward Cuba, that he's expected to announce the changes in Miami possibly by the end of the week. This has been confirmed by a congressional source with direct knowledge of the situation. No names are mentioned of these sources, so I'm not sure how much we can trust on this, but the speculation is that the president would make it more difficult for Americans to visit Cuba and for companies to do business there. So it would be some kind of reversal on what President Obama had done. The story says the administration is considering limiting visitors to one trip per year and trying to discourage pleasure travel to Cuba. Well, I know, and this remains a very controversial issue in Florida, where you have a lot of people that are from Cuba in Florida. So it's a hot button issue there. I just hope that whatever is done, that there's a clear message of what our policy is, what are our goals in terms of Cuba. If we're going to make changes, please, I hope they explain exactly why and what the goal is. I don't know what kind of changes we're seeing in Cuba now that we've had changes at the top, of course, in Cuba due to Fidel Castro's passing and all of that. So, but I'd love to know what the actual goal is and have it clearly stated when whatever changes happen. But trying to discourage pleasure travel to Cuba. I don't know I know that Cuba has really geared up to take as many pleasure travelers as possible from the United States, and that they really, really want us to come and spend money there. Maybe we could see some type of change if we threaten to take away some of that money that would be provided by that tourism. Well, we'll see. So far, this is all just sources claiming that the announcement will come this week. Don't know if it will happen or not. Today, it's jobs. And Ivanka Trump told us yesterday that they would be talking about workforce development this week. Nobody's mentioned Cuba yet officially. There's another segment of Uncle Henry Show next. Thank you for listening.
While they were watching
Obama spying on Americans.
You were listening. Keep on listening.
It's so sick.
Sean Hannity, 2 till 5. News Radio 710, WNTM.
The definition of Alabama conservative. That's Luther Strange.
When Barack Obama launched an assault on our religious freedoms, Big Luther Strange said no way. He fought back and won, protecting our conservative values. Obama's illegal amnesty plan? Big Luther Strange helped block that too, to keep us safe. And when the government tried to infringe on our right to keep and bear arms, Big Luther fought for our Second Amendment rights and won, earning an A+ rating from the National Rifle Association and their endorsement. Other folks talk conservative, but Luther Strange has the courage to fight for our values and win. Big Luther Strange, the conservative for Alabama, fighting for us. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Hey, this is Uncle Henry. If you have a tree problem, let me introduce you to someone who can help you solve it. That's Donnie Chastang at Chastang's Tree Service. Donnie Chastang offers residential and commercial tree service, and this includes tree removal, tree trimming, stump grinding, tree topping, and deadwooding. And I really like the fact that Donnie has invested in all the best state-of-the-art equipment needed to handle any job, no matter how difficult. And his employees at Chastang's Tree Service, they've got me. And we're here on Facebook. Let me see. Preparing for the final segment of the Uncle Henry Show. Now, earlier this hour, I was talking with Ariel about these VIP packages at concerts, because we were, Journey is going to be in concert at the Wharf, and I looked at the VIP packages for some of their concerts, and it's something like $300, and you're in the front row, and you get to go to a reception. Now, earlier this morning, we had the Forbes.com list of the highest paid celebrities. And in the top 10 was Coldplay. The group Coldplay, they were number 8 on the list. So I decided to look and see, and Coldplay is on tour. And a Coldplay VIP package is something like $550 per ticket. So you pay $550, and this is what you get. You get to sit somewhere in the first 15 rows, a private pre-show lounge with food and drinks, a VIP tour gift item, an official Coldplay VIP laminate, a limited edition Coldplay poster, a commemorative concert ticket, a Coldplay guitar pick, early entrance into the venue, and an opportunity to shop the merchandise without a big crowd. So that's all for $500 and something. That doesn't seem like enough. I'm with you, Ariel. If it's $500, Coldplay needs to serve me the drinks. They need to be there at the bar and serve me the drinks and hand me the guitar pick if they're giving me a commemorative guitar pick. Now, I did see that somebody, for the last night's NBA Finals, it was Golden State Warriors beating Cleveland. Somebody paid $133,000 to get courtside seats. Now, what if they were a Cleveland fan? It's I know experiences are supposed to be very important in our lives, and that they're allegedly more important than objects or things like that. But $133,000 could buy me a lot of different experiences other than sitting courtside at a game, especially when big screen TV looks so good. All right, stand by. We go back to radio.
News in this iHeart radio station.
We love Nick Saban. Just wanted to get that out of the way. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM The Jag. Final segment of the show coming up on 99.5 The Jag. I'm sure you'll have analysis of the NBA Finals. Golden State beating Cleveland. I did see the news story that somebody paid $133,000 for courtside tickets. I didn't see the details on who it was. What if they were a Cleveland fan? That would be terrible, wouldn't it? I can't imagine spending that amount of money on tickets to anything, not even if it were a rocket to Mars. But if you were a Cleveland fan and you spent $133,000 to see your team lose, that would have been really, really rough, a bitter pill to swallow. Well, I'm sure that'll be talked about on 99.5 The Jag. And it'll be a topic on the Colin Cowherd Show at 11 on The Jag. On News Radio 710 WNTM, of course, Rush Limbaugh at 11. Rush Limbaugh is on the Forbes magazine list of the world's highest paid celebrities. Number 1 on the list is Puff Daddy P. Diddy. He's number 1, earning $130 million. Beyonce's number 2, J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter's number 3. Drake is number 4. Cristiano Ronaldo, I believe a soccer player, is number 5 on the list. The Weeknd is number 6. Howard Stern, 7 on the list. Now, I'm bringing up the list because Rush Limbaugh is number 11. He's tied with Guns N' Roses at $84 million. Rush Limbaugh making $84 million last year. Rush has a line of kids' books. He's got his website that people pay to be a part of. But more important than both his books and his website is he's on the radio all over the country. And still, even though people claim that sponsors have left him, he's on the way out. He's number 11 on the Forbes World Highest Paid Celebrities list at $84 million, and his audience, according to Forbes, his audience had an increase of 21% due to last year's election. So he is not on the decline. That is pretty good. $84 million. So Rush, maybe he'll talk about that. I wish he would. Probably won't. But I wish he'd bring that up on his show today. And I'm sure he'll be previewing Jeff Sessions' testimony, since Jeff Sessions his testimony will begin in the last half hour of Rush's show. And I'm sure Rush probably would think along the same lines that I do, that Jeff Sessions, because he has volunteered to do this and has volunteered to do it in an open session, Jeff Sessions probably has something he wants to tell us. So I'm really looking forward to whatever it is Jeff Sessions has to say. Now, I was looking at the other people, by the way, on the list. There are people that did surprise me. Now, Puff Daddy surprised me because I just haven't heard a lot. I don't pay a lot of attention to P. Diddy Puff Daddy at number 1 on the list. Not surprised by Beyonce being on the list of highest paid celebrities, but there are people like Dr. Phil is number 15 at $79 million. Ariel, did you know Dr. Phil was still happening at $79 million? Dr. Phil made more money than Bruce Springsteen. Well, I guess there's more to Dr. Phil than I thought. Now, let's see. Before we run out of time, there is a word I learned. I saw this linked for a couple of days, I think, on the Drudge Report. The word is phubbing, Phubbing. It sounds nasty, but phubbing is a combination of the word phone and snub. And the word is when someone ignores you for their phone, they've fubbed you. They have fubbed you. I've been fubbed. And unfortunately, I've been forced to fub people because I've gotten work emails even on the weekend that I had to respond to. So I had to fub a friend of mine, and I was uncomfortable doing it. And the word is in the news because researchers are claiming that this is becoming an issue in the modern marriage, that fubbing is something like 70% of couples report that there's fubbing going on in their relationship, and it's causing relationship problems, all of this fubbing. I don't know what the answer will be to this because young people are raised now with smartphones around them at all times, and they didn't live in a world the way maybe you and I did where we didn't have them. It's far easier for me to turn mine off and set it aside than it might be for somebody in their 30s or 20s. So somebody will have to figure this out. I won't, but somebody will have to figure out how to deal with fubbing. But I'm going to try to do better. I'm going to pledge that when I'm with my friends and family, that I don't want to fub them, even when it's something work-related. I want to try and not fub anybody. All right, out of time. Thank you for listening to The Uncle Henry Show. You can find previous episodes, the video available on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page, also on our website, newsradio710.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
James from Metallica here.
This is Lars.
It's iHeartRadio.
Hi, this is Angus Young from AC/DC on iHeartRadio.
Open up the free iHeartRadio app right now and type in your favorite artist name to make a custom station based on all their biggest hits.
Free! Hey, this is Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top.
This is Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones.
All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Download our free iHeartRadio app or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
I'm Gretchen Rubin, author of The Happiness Project and several books about happiness.
And I'm Elizabeth Kraft, a TV writer and producer.
We're sisters, and together we host Happier. In each episode of Happier, we offer tips and strategies on how to be happier.
Listen for free by searching for Happier on iHeartRadio now.
Your home for Rush. Weekdays at 11. News Radio 710 WNTM Mobile. An iHeart radio station. 99.9 WMXC HD3 Mobile.